Hello friends, welcome to the new session and today we are going to learn something very interesting and unique. Do you know what is the topic that we are going to learn today? Today we are going to learn about factors and multiples. Have you heard about these terms earlier children? Factors and multiples. You have studied it in your earlier classes, right? So what do you mean by these three terms? So factor is something when one number is multiplied with another number to give a product. Okay. So these are the numbers which is multiplied with another number in order to form a product. Okay. Whereas multiple is the product that we obtain. For example, I have 100 rupees with me. Okay. Now I am going to the shop to purchase few commodities and I don't have change with me. So what are the different ways in which I can break this 100 rupees? I can either break it when the denomination of 1 rupee, I can break it in denomination of 2 rupee, then I can break it in the denomination of 5 rupee. You don't have 4 rupees, right? So I can break it in the denomination of 5, then 10, and then 20, 25, 50, and 100. Right? We can also break it in the denomination of 4, as in if I multiply 2 times 2. Right? So these are the possible ways in which I can get 100. Right? So I can get as 1 into 100. I can get 2 into 50. Okay? I can get 4 into 25. I can get 5 into 20, right? So these are the 4 ways in which I can get the denominations, right? I can also get 10 into 10, right? So the product which I will be obtaining, that is the 100, that is called as my multiples, okay? And these are called as my factors, okay? This 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, 20, 25 and 50. These split ups are called as my factors. That is, if I use these type of composition, if I use these patterns also, I will be getting my output as 100. So the product which I am obtaining, that is called as my multiple. So always have one thing in mind, that factors will always be from a dividing source. So if I divide 100 by 10, I get the answer 10. Okay. So factors can be obtained only through division and multiples are obtained by the process of multiplication. So do not get confused with the terms factors and multiples. Always keep in mind that factors will be lower in value whereas multiples will be in a big form because this number is obtained through multiplication. Clear? So is the concept clear children? So now I am going to deal you with the next one, which are the basic properties of factors and multiples. So now let us quickly learn what are the factors properties. Okay. So based on these rules, we will be solving our sums in today's class. So the next topic for us is properties. Okay. The first property of the factor is 1 is the factor of every number. Okay. We know that 1 is a number which can be multiplied or divided by any number. Be it an odd number, be it an even number, 1 is the factor of every number. So it is called as a common factor. Clear? Coming to the next property, the second property says that every number is a factor of itself. So what do you mean by this property, children? Every number is a factor of itself, which means that if I divide a number with the same number, what is the answer that I obtain? It's 1, right? So every number is a factor of its own number. Okay? So how 1 is the factor of every number? Similarly, every number is a factor of its own number. Okay? The third property states every factor of a number is an exact divisor of that number. So what do you mean by this property? Every factor of a number is an exact divisor of that number. For example, if I take 3, 7 and I get the answer 21. Okay. So which means that if I try to divide 21 with 3, the number will be exactly divided. There will be no remainder in it. Similarly, if I try to divide 21 with 7, I will be getting the answer which has no remainder. Okay. So every factor of a number is an exact divisor of that number. So which means that when you try to divide that number, there will be no remainder left. Clear? The next property for you is every factor of a number is less than or equal to the number. Okay. Every factor of a number is less than or equal to the number, which means that the factor value will never be greater than the number obtained. Say as an example, I told you in 21, if I am finding the factors, I have 1, 3 and 7, right? So this 1, 3 and 7 will be less than 21 or equal to 21, but it will never be a greater number than 21. So it will always be less than or equal to the given number. Clear? Shall we move to the next property? So the next property says factors of a given number are finite. So what do you mean by the term finite, children? Finite means something which is exact, something which is definite. The value of whose is definite, which means that you can count the value. Okay, it is easy for us to count the values on the number basis. Okay, so factors of a given number are definite. It is not infinite, which you cannot trace it out. Okay, the next property is every number is a multiple to itself. Okay, every number is a multiple to itself. So which means that 21 will be the multiple of the number 21 itself. 25 will be the multiple of its own value 25. Okay, how a factor is a factor to itself. Similarly, a multiple is a number to itself. Okay, the next factor is every multiple of a number is greater than or equal to that number. So what do you mean by that? The multiple of a number is greater than or equal to the given number, which means that, as I said, factor is a smaller value, multiple is the product that is obtained by multiplying the given factors, right? So the multiple value is always greater than the factor value, or it will be equal to the factor value. It will never be less than the factor value. Clear? The last property is the number of multiples of a given number is unlimited. So what do you mean by this point, children? So here it is trying to say that the number of multiples, so which means that if you keep on multiplying, you can go on multiplying the numbers. There is no limit to find the multiple value. There is only limitation to the factors. There is no limitation to the multiples. Okay. So the number of multiples of a given number is unlimited. Okay. So shall we quickly revise what are the factors of the properties of factors and multiples? The very first property of the factor is 1 is the factor of every number. So it is common and unique for all the numbers. Okay. The second property says every number is a factor of itself. So when you divide a number or multiply a number, you will be having a factor of its own. Okay. The third one says every factor of a number is an exact divisor of that number. If I divide a number with the number itself, I get the answer 1. Right. So it is linking with the first property that every factor of a number is an exact divisor of that number. You will have no remainder left when you try to divide that number. Clear? The next one says every factor of a number is less than or equal to the number, which means that the value or the factor value which we have will be either less or equal to the product obtained. It shall never be greater than the given number. Clear? The next one says factors of a given number are finite. So which means that we can easily count the value of factors. Okay, it is not infinite. It is always definite. It is always finite. Clear? The next property, every number is a multiple of itself. How every factor is a multiple of itself, similarly, every number is a multiple of itself. Okay. The next one, every multiple of a number is greater than or equal to the given number. So since we know that multiple is the product that is obtained with multiplying two or more factor value, so the number value is always greater or it should be equal to the given number. It can never be lesser than the given number. Clear? And the last property says the number of multiples of a given number is unlimited. So if you keep on multiplying, you can keep on getting the multiple value. There is no end to find the multiple values. Clear? So these are the basic properties which we will be following in today's class.